What's up guys, Junk here. Here's episode 2 of Game Builds, and today I'm going to be building a Stinger Sight. The Stinger Sight should be a really simple build, and it's going to look great next to the GLA tunnel network that I already made. Before we do anything, we need to find the proper base size for a Stinger Sight. To get the proper scaling, I surrounded the Stinger Sight with the rocket troopers. It looked like 6 could fit around it, so I'm going to do a 6x6. I can also use the tunnel network from my previous video, and I can try to use that to gauge about the correct size. Make sure to save your offcuts, guys. I guarantee you'll be able to use it for another project. I think the size of our base is looking pretty good. Now we can move on to adding just a thin layer of foam on top of it. I think the thin layer of foam core looks way better than just the plain chipboard. Here I'm failing miserably at using a texture roller on top of foam core. You actually have to remove the top layer of paper or whatever it is, and then you get to the malleable foam that you can roll over. I also beveled all the edges on the foam core. Pretty much just scalp this guy here, but like I said, it's going to make it way easier to actually hit with that texture roller and for it to leave an impression. Now I'm getting started working on the beams. I ended up going with a much thinner version, but it's going to be the same length. I'm making the sandbags out of just regular construction foam. If anyone wants to get into scratch building, I would highly recommend purchasing some of this construction foam. It's super useful and easy to work with. Just don't be an idiot like me. I think these walls are looking pretty good. I'm going to glue everything together, and then I'm going to kind of set up all the troopers and the crates to see how it looks. To make the camo netting, I'm going to be using cheesecloth. So I'm going to create this with the cheesecloth. To do this, you're going to want to kind of pull back and forth, loosen the cheesecloth. This takes quite a while. This is what it looked like after about 10 minutes. It's time to get the base painted up, and then we are going to dry brush it to hopefully bring out a lot of the sharp edges on it. I think a little bit of black wash kind of just blends everything together. I'm going to set that aside to dry, and I'm going to get started working on all the beams. I'm trying to be pretty sloppy with this white paint here to try to give it a little grungy, thrown together look. After finishing texturing all of the sandbags, I made a major mistake. I did not check and double check what color the sandbags were, and I painted them way too brown. Even though this looks really good with the wash, I actually went through and I repainted this a darker gray color to match better with the in-game version. To paint the camo mesh, I actually used Game Wash from Viejo. I figured that paint would be way too thick and it would kind of clog up all the little pores in the material, and I think wash was a pretty good alternative. Overall, I think it looks really good here. For the green trim, I took a ribbon from Michaels. I cut it into 4 parts, and then I cut them horizontally down the middle to make them thinner. I think it looks pretty good. Here's the final version of the Stinger Sight. This build was a bunch of fun to do. I got to test out multiple different crafting methods. Hopefully you guys learned something new from this video. If you liked it, make sure to subscribe to my channel and check out my other content. Have a good one, guys.